So recently, congressional Democrats have been talking about trying to get $15 minimum wage passed in another way. They're trying to propose it on potentially a next stimulus bill or as a standalone bill itself. Chuck Schumer actually was the one discussing this, and I gotta be honest, Chuck Schumer can go fuck himself because the Dems said the reason they couldn't get the $15 minimum wage passed through budget reconciliation, which would not require 60 votes, would require less votes, was because the Senate parliamentarian said they couldn't. They said you're not allowed to do that. What Republicans have done before in the past is when the parliamentarian says they couldn't do it, they're like, haha, yeah we can. Fired the parliamentarian and then hired someone that allowed them to do that. Democrats see the parliamentarian go no, and they're like, oh, sorry, Mr. Parliamentarian, I didn't mean to. Please don't be mad. They're just a bunch of spineless fucking pussies, bro. And it's not even that they're all corrupt. Because as much as I hate it, I think that people like the squad have good intentions. AOC, I'm still on the board about because I just recently learned that she was giving speeches in 2020 at one point for almost $100,000 a speech. The only person so far, the only two congressional people that I guess I'll say three people that I really am behind at the moment are Rashawn Kawan from Seattle. She's not even a congressperson. Like I said, it doesn't really count, so there's two. Rashawn Kawan, Ilhan Omar, and Bernie Sanders. That's it. Those are the only politicians that I'm standing behind at this moment. I like Yang. But what he said about BDS, I really hope I said that right. The organization, the pro-Palestinian organization, and equating them to, you know, white supremacists, that got under my skin a little bit. I think Yang was trying to appease the large Jewish population in New York. I think he was trying to send you like a virtue, not really a virtue signal, but letting the large Jewish population know in New York that I got your back. But that's a whole other topic to discuss. But I just recently watched a video with Ilhan Omar being interviewed by Mehdi Hassan on his new TV show. And when Mehdi Hassan asked her, what since $15 minimum wage is servicing again, what was the strategy behind closed doors that you guys used before to try and get the $15 minimum wage passed? And she was kind of, sleight of hand language, but basically what she said was, well, didn't really have a strategy. They didn't have a fucking strategy to pass $15 minimum wage. They didn't. Didn't have a strategy. That shows how little they care. Right after that was passed, they went on a 2-week vacation. We're in the middle of a pandemic. People are dying. They're hemorrhaging their health care. They're going financially bankrupt, and we're in a depression. And they went on vacation. And they said, you can't have higher wages. Oh, and they cut $600 from your stimulus bill. Stimulus check, I should say. These people don't give a shit about us. They don't. They've never given a shit. The Republicans will tell you to your face, you're not getting $15 minimum wage, and I don't give a shit on you. Or give a shit about you, and then they spit on you. I can respect that because I know who my enemies are up front. I know Mitch McConnell doesn't give a shit about the working people in Kentucky or in the United States. I know he doesn't. So I know what he's going to do. I know Dick Cheney doesn't give a shit, for example, about either working class Americans or people overseas, like Iraqis, for example. I know people like Ted Cruz don't give a shit about his people in Texas. I know this, and I can respect that a little bit more because I know who my enemies are. The people know who their enemies are, so they know who's against them. The Democrats will tell you how much they love the working class, and then they won't show it. They won't show it. Republicans tell you to your face they don't give a fuck about you, and they do everything that they want to do. Democrats tell you how much they love you, and then don't do anything. They go, oh, it's the Republicans' fault. We couldn't pass the little bill. And Joe Biden saying, I won't pass any, fucking executive orders because he doesn't think it's beyond my constitutional limit and I don't want to be a monarchy or some fucking delusional dementia fucking rant he had. Trump and FDR had almost 1,000. FDR had 3,000 executive orders. Trump, within his first 100 days, signed, probably near 100. And Joe Biden says he won't sign executive orders. There's so many things he could do with an executive order. Under Obamacare, under Medicare for All, there's a clause that if there is a natural disaster, COVID, that is affecting people in their health care where they can't afford it, or there's something happening to them that they can't control, COVID, that you can pass a temporary lift on medical debt. And you can get the treatments for free. That is under the Obamacare. That is under Medicare. I don't see him doing it. Why? Because he's not only a corrupt old piece of shit, a war hawk, but he loves Republicans. He will do anything Republicans say because he believes this is 1970s style, politics, and you have to be friends with everybody to get shit passed. When Republicans don't do that shit, Republicans know what the fuck they want, and they pass the shit they want. Democrats don't do that shit. They sit with their fucking thumbs up their ass, run with chicken with their head cut off. So it's aggravating. And you see people defending them like, oh, well, they're not Republicans. Well, what separates them and Republicans? Their language? I can give a shit what their language is. If they're not inciting violence, I don't care. You can call me a dumb piece of shit. Like, I wouldn't give a fuck. As long as you're not trying to, physically harm me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just frustrating. And you see people being brainwashed by the media over and over and over. And now it's becoming more clear and transparent that both parties don't give a shit about you. And I know people personally who are moving, family and friends who are moving farther left and farther and farther and farther. Because they're realizing, wait a minute now. If the Republicans don't give a shit about me, the Democrats don't give a shit about me, why should I even listen to their identity politics? Why should I even listen to anything they have to say? And they're starting to realize, wait a minute, maybe being farther and farther left, those are the people who care about the working class people. And the reason they're not in Congress, people that are like actually socialist or actually anarchist, right? People who actually care about working class people. The reason they're not in Congress is because they're not corrupt. And they're not allowed, or they're gaslighted into being, they're brainwashing communists who want to steal your you name it, guns. Even though one of the founding things with socialism is that they want to arm poor people because poor people have a right to defend themselves. And I firmly believe that as well. I believe there should not be, I don't believe people should have bazookas or tanks, but that's to the extent, though I'm not the biggest when it comes to my gun knowledge. However, I believe Americans have the right to defend themselves. Because if a cop is like bro happened with Breonna Taylor, if a cop is serving a no-knock warrant and he doesn't show proof of warrant and he's just budging in, or if an off-duty cop tries to arrest you in your home, in your domestic private property, you should be able to defend yourself. Pigs should not be allowed to walk into your place of business or your place of livelihood, to your home, just because and abuse their power. You should be able to defend yourself. And that's just to the point that they won't pass $15 minimum wage because they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about me. They won't pass it because they don't believe you deserve $15 an hour while they're making $83 on the hour. So, it's just frustrating, but maybe next time. Maybe if we let somebody different, but I don't see that happening. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later.